everyone. So today I decided I was going to teach you or show you how to make a copycat version of Gideon's Bakehouse cookies. Now Gideon's Bakehouse is at Walt Disney World's downtown Disney, which is called Disney Springs. And everybody loves these cookies. They wait in line for hours and hours just to get some. This recipe, I personally have tried the ones at Disney World that are actual Gideon's Bakehouse cookies. And I've tried these before. This recipe I like better than the ones that are actually Gideon's Bakehouse cookies. You may not, but I do. They're very similar, but these just are a little bit better to me. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with some butter. It takes a half a cup of butter for this recipe. You can make a bigger one. This one is it's a good size for me. So you're going to take it and you're going to open it up and you're going to cube the butter first. So in order to cube the butter, you're just going to take it and cut it into little cubes, like this. First I cut it one direction, and then I cut it the other direction, and then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to cut it this way. Okay, so now it's all cubed up, as you can see. I'm going to dump that in my bowl. I'm going to just kind of loosen up those cubes a little bit so it's a little bit easier for the mixer. This is cold butter, well, that I left out for a few minutes, but not too long. Then I'm going to take and put in a half a cup of brown sugar, light brown sugar, not the dark brown sugar. And when you measure brown sugar, you want to pack the sugar, because that's how you measure brown sugar, I think. Yeah, I need to open the next one here. So you're going to pack your cup like this so that it comes out in a big chunk. All right. And I'm going to set that close and set that to the side. Next thing I need is a quarter of a cup of white sugar. So I'm just going to fill my half cup measuring cup half full. All right, there we go. So that's 1/4 cup of white sugar. And then I'm going to take my mixer and I'm going to plug it in here. And then we're going to go ahead and mix this for 5 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer there and mix that up. I will come back to you in 5 minutes. All right, so now this is all creamed together. This is your sugars and your butter. So once again, that was a cube of butter, so that's a half a cup of butter. And then there was 1/2 cup of brown sugar, the light brown sugar, and 1/4 cup of white sugar. Now we're going to add 1 egg. We're going to go ahead and mix that in. You want to beat this in well. I'm going to go ahead and get a rubber scraper, rubber spatula, and I'm going to scrape the sides of the bowl down. Even this works. This is for putting frosting on, but it's also like a silicone scraper. Just scrape the sides of your bowl so that you can get it all down in there again. So that looks good. We'll mix that up. This is what that looks like now that you've mixed the egg in. I'm going to set this over here real quick. And then it takes 1.5 cups of flour. I'm just using all-purpose flour for this. So here we go. Okay, there's 1 cup. The next half, okay, so that's 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And then I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and an additional 1/2 teaspoon here. And then I'm going to put in a half teaspoon of baking soda. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'll probably actually put in like a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Otherwise it might be a little salty because I'm using salted butter rather than unsalted. Then I'm going to mix this up. But when I mix it up, I don't want to overmix it. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this right here. Okay, now we're getting to a point. There we go. Now we're getting to a point where I'm going to go ahead and take my scraper. I'm going to scrape the sides of the bowl here. Continue to mix this in the rest of the way by hand. It looks like this right here. And then I'm going to need to, let's see, refrigerate this for 30 minutes to overnight. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator and then we'll come back. All right, I forgot to tell you to put in 2 cups of chocolate chips. Go ahead and stir those in before you refrigerate it. It'll be easier than if you try to do it after you refrigerated it. So stir those in until they're well combined. And then you're going to refrigerate it for 30 minutes to overnight. So let me go ahead and do that and then show you what it looks like. It's going to look like a lot of chocolate chips, just so you know, because that's the way Gideon's cookies are. They have tons of chocolate chips in them. These are the chocolate chip cookies, by the way. Not the other ones. They have lots of different flavors, but this is the chocolate one. And I don't like to put the coarse salt on top, but you could if you want to. I'll explain that later. All right, so now they've mixed it in, it looks like that. All right, now we'll put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to overnight. Hey there again. I forgot to mention to put in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. All right, so you put that in before you put in your chocolate chips. When you're mixing up your butter and your sugars, then you go ahead and put it in right after you're done with that. And then you can put in your flours, or you can put it in when you put in your flour, but before you put in the flour and all that and mix it up. So you can put it in, but just don't mix it until you've put the vanilla in. All right. All right, so I'm back, and this is out of the refrigerator now. So you're going to want to scoop up, because Gideon's cookies are large, so you're going to scoop up a handful. Okay, and probably even a little bit bigger, because they're a half-pound cookie by the time they're done. So you're going to scoop it up. You're going to try to make a ball out of it like this. And then you're going to grab or roll it in chocolate chips and press them all over the top part until you've got it covered like that, or more if you can. Gonna put it down here and try to get some of these chocolate chips up and push them in. Then I'm gonna pull them to the side for the next cookie. Same thing again. Gonna get a handful of cookie dough. Press this into a ball, and then you're gonna cover it once again in chocolate chips. I mean, you can roll it in chocolate chips as well, but if you do, you know, whatever chocolate chips you've rolled it in will not be something you can put back, because of the fact it's come in contact with the raw eggs and the raw flour and all that. Once you've pushed as many as you can onto it, you're gonna make sure it's back in a ball shape. You're gonna set that down. You're gonna want to, they should stay pretty much in their shape. You're gonna want to leave some space for them to expand. So next one. And some more chocolate chips. I have lined my baking sheet with some parchment paper. Make it easier for them to come off of the cookie sheet, especially with all the chocolate. It will melt onto there. And then I'm going to put that one down. I preheated my oven to 400 degrees, so just finished there with that. And so when I get all of these formed, they will be ready to go ahead and go in to the oven. So I'm going to sprinkle some more down onto my, I'm just working from my baking sheet here. And with my parchment paper, that way I'm not wasting chocolate chips. So okay, here's another one. It's going to go over there. Then I'm going to get, it says you put about 6 of them on a baking sheet. So that is 4 right there. And with Gideon's cookies, if you've ever had them, you'll know that the center is never finished. It's never baked. It's kind of gooey. And that's the one thing that I don't care for as much on the Gideon's cookies personally. So, you know, you can cook these a little longer or whatever if you need to make them done enough in the center for your preferences. Still forming these up. Then we're going to put those into the oven when I'm done here. Okay, I'm going to clear those over to the side. Make one more, and then I'm going to put the rest of the cookie dough back into the refrigerator while I have these in the oven baking. That way, when it comes out, my next batch will be still hard enough for baking, because Gideon's cookies stay thick. They do not flatten out really much. So I'm going to roll this one again into the chocolate chips. Press them in. Okay. Make sure it stays rounded, because you want them to be a round ball. You don't want to flatten them when you put them on the sheet. I will wash my hands up real quick and show you what they look like. All right, so this is what your cookies are going to look like before you put them into the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven. They go into the oven at 400 degrees for 9 to 15 minutes-ish. We'll check on them and let you know what it looks like when they're done. All right. All right, so the cookies are now out of the oven, and this is what they're going to look like when they're done. You want to leave these to cool on the cookie sheet for a while. You don't want to take them off right away. Maybe leave them for 5 minutes or so before you take them off and put them on a cooling rack. I cooked these for 16 minutes. So that is my recipe. Oops. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and I will see you again real soon. All right, bye.